and gentlemen, behold the wonders of the deep.
This sucks.
Yep.
We won't take you for a ride. Insurance is a promise to pay. At Beacon, we keep our promises.
Good evening once more and welcome to You Decide. I'm your host, Byron Campbell. Let me begin by introducing a new version of You Decide. Beginning this Wednesday and until the elections, You Decide will be on a political watch. We will be featuring various parties and politicians who are seeking to gain your support. I will be speaking with a wide cross-sections of politicians, especially those who will be asking for your vote to get their views on solving Grenada's problems. So beginning today and every Wednesday until after the elections, it's You Decide Political Watch live and interactive right here on CC6. Let me welcome our guests, and we have this evening Honorable Roland Bowler. He is the General Secretary of the NNP, and he's MP for St. Andrew Northeast, and we have also with us Senator the Honorable Anthony Boson. He is the NNP spokesman on the economy and finance, and he's also the treasurer of the NNP. And we're going to be looking at generally the NNP perspective. Gentlemen, welcome to You Decide. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. You're the first guest on You Decide Political Watch. So you're the guinea pig in fact, in reality.
Well, I hope we will set the standard that others will follow.
Yes.
Not just follow, but I hope that the standards we set would be difficult for them to achieve. Thank you.
I want us to begin by looking at the economy, but I want to preamble it by saying that sometime last month, the Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, the leader of the opposition, said about the economy, he said that it's on the brink. Total financial and economic collapse is what we are facing. Senator Boson, is that a bit extreme? I mean, what is the reality in your view, in the NNP view, of the present economy?
No, Byron, it is not an exaggeration. As a matter of fact, I think we have tipped over the brink and we're heading down serious precipice. If you look at the state of the economy now, we do not have to follow what you call the classical textbook theory in terms of GDP, zero growth in the economy. You just have to look around the country. Yeah? Let us take a practical look at what is taking place in the country today. Everywhere you go, people are complaining they can't find work. Right? Unemployment is at its highest. You look at business operations. Every day you're hearing about another business that has collapsed, failed because no money in circulation. The construction industry, absolutely nothing is happening there. The tourism industry in shambles. Few airlines have either pulled out or cut back on the flights into Grenada. Really nothing is happening in the country, Byron. And even the Minister of Finance himself had to revise his growth projection from 1.9% to 0.5%. So he's really confirming that really the economy is stagnant. And worse yet, when you look at the finances, for 2 out of 3 months, government could not meet its obligations to its workers on time. Yeah, and even up to this point in time, we do not know, and I guess we will be talking about that, where the government is getting the money from to meet its current operations. You know that you are in serious financial problem if you run a business when you cannot cover your basic operating expenses, salaries, rent, debt repayment. When you cannot meet these obligations, it means that you do not have anything left for capital, for inclusion in the capital budget.
What is the context? Because the context is one, the global economic crisis. If you look at the Eurozone, Spain, I believe, unemployment is over 25%. There are major issues in the world. In fact, and I also want to tell you that the NDC, the Minister of Finance, in previous discussion, what he indicated is that part of the context is also the legacy of the NNP. Of course, we'll come to that later. But what about the general context? Are you considering the general context?
Yes, Byron, and I'm glad you mentioned the global economic condition, because although we have said that the global economy is in recession, and therefore, because the Grenada economy is linked to the global economy, I cannot see how Grenada could be out of recession. But it was the Minister of Finance himself who proclaimed in his 2012 budget that Grenada is out of recession and growing again. So I want to know on what basis? Because even the ECCB, which is the authority, the legal authority to pronounce on growth performances in the member countries, indicated that the region is still in recession. But if our Minister of Finance is claiming that Grenada is out of recession and growing again, then he ought not to complain about what is taking place in the global economy. Maybe he knows that Grenada could operate independently of what is taking place in the global economy. And I may also say that notwithstanding what is taking place in the global economy, if you undertake certain measures, as Dominica did, St. Lucia did, the recession may not be as severe. It is like a hurricane, a storm coming. If you prepare, obviously the impact will not be as great as if you did not prepare. I'm saying that Grenada did not prepare, and it did things that were what I call assisted in the acceleration of the pace of the recession, right? And we could highlight a number of things that were done.
I'll come back to you. I want to move away from the numbers a bit. Honorable Bola, you're a very practical person. You're a farmer. You're an MP for a rural constituency. You reside in rural Grenada. What are you picking up on the ground? What is the situation? Give us an actual. What are people telling you? What are you seeing? What are you interfacing on a day-to-day there?
I can start, Byron, by telling you, just like Senator said, we don't have to go to the textbook. We don't have to use their definitions. Mm-hmm. A couple of months ago, I was speaking to a lady. She's about close to 70, 68, 69, thereabout. And what she said to me was pretty amazing. She said to me, Mr. Bola, I've never left Grenada from the day I was born here. In fact, she said, in all my years, I don't even own a passport. I never traveled. And I'm telling you that in all my years, it is the worst I've ever seen it. She went further to say that there are days when she cannot even prepare a meal. And sometimes when you say those things, people think that you're just doing it for political purposes. But that is the reality. If you travel through the outer parts, and I think it happens in the capital as well, mm-hmm. you would see scores of young persons. And it is not the first time that scores of young persons will gather at various points. But what is amazing now is that every time they see you pass by, they have a reason to tell you they need a $5 or $10. And most of the time is because they said to you, well, we haven't had anything to eat yet, we want to cook a pot. In addition to that, I have never seen, Byron, in my time in Grenada, so many persons, from grandmother to grandchildren, gambling, as they're doing now. I mean, every single person in this country virtually plays...
You talking about bingo?
Well, bingo is only one part of it. I mean, people, children, school age are walking around in the village with their notebooks, and I am thinking, that they were trying to get assistance to do their school work, only to later find out that they're going door to door asking everyone, what did you dream last night? And they're writing it down so that their parents can...
You're not serious.
I am absolutely serious. I won't come on national television. You are asking me to give you a practical sense of what is happening in the country.
Okay.
And that is what is happening.
Yeah.
I am being factual and very practical. I'm saying to you that I don't think it is a matter of choice. In fact, one guy said to me, at one time in Grenada, we used to sit and ask ourselves, what are we going to cook? Because those was the days when you cooked 3 meals a day and you had to make a determination what you cook. He said, these days we have to ask ourselves, when are we going to cook? Is it going to be in the morning Is it going to be midday or in the afternoon? Because we can only now cook one meal a day. That tells you the extent of the economic problem in the country. People are virtually broke. There's no way to find a job, no way to get help from, because those who used to help before, they have fallen into a similar situation like those who have. So the haves and the have not, or who used to have and who didn't have, they are now at the same level, the same bracket. I mean, sometimes it aches me really, really bad inside. Why? Because as you said earlier on, and Senator, I agreed with it, the world economic situation does have negative effect on us in Grenada. But for 4 years plus, I have not seen any serious program implemented by this administration that in some way was meant to assist or to deal with the problem. In fact, whatever they have done was to make it worse.
Because Tony, I mean, what they're saying, what the Minister of Finance is in fact saying, what the NDC administration is saying, that the major period of their time was stuck with dealing with the major structural and fiscal problems that your administration, the NNP, left. And let me tell you a bit more what he said. He said that the Grenadian economy had the lowest, and he says Standards and Poor's reported this too. So he's not saying, he says this is not his numbers, it's not his figures. He's saying that the Grenadian economy had the lowest credit rating in any country in the Caribbean. Public debt was some $1.7 billion. We had the fourth highest debt per capita of any emerging economy in the world. Unpaid claims of $53 million. Unpaid taxes of $207 million. In fact, in 2008, you projected a deficit for the year of $81.5 million. By June, it was already $75 million. I mean, these are not my numbers. This is what the Minister of Finance has put forward. He's saying,
I do not.
So he's saying, look, we are preoccupied with fixing these structural and physical problems that you left.
The Minister of Finance is very good on playing with words. Let me explain to you. What did the Minister of Finance inherited? What was the rate of growth in 2007-2008? 4.5%, yeah? What did the IMF said about what this government inherited? They said the NDC inherited a buoyant and growing economy. Why didn't he report that as well? Yeah? What has happened? Okay, let's take those issues you raised. Standard and Poor's.
Yeah.
Again, that is what I call deceptive reporting. Grenada received a credit rating from Standard and Poor's, I think, in 2002. There are 15 countries in CARICOM, right? And Standard and Poor's only rated 6 countries in the region, in CARICOM. Bahamas, Jamaica, Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and Grenada. Grenada, the only OECS country to be rated by Standard and Poor's, right? So if you say that we have the lowest credit rating in the region, it must be that all the countries in the region have been rated. St. Vincent has not been rated, St. Lucia has not been rated, Antigua has not been rated, all of the St. Kitts and Nevis have not been rated. Then why are you making this deceptive pronouncement?
So you believe Standards and Poor's singled out Grenada?
No, but let me explain to you what he's talking about.
Please,
because you say the lowest rating in the entire region.
Yes.
If you said the lowest rating of the countries that have been rated, that is different. But even then, I could twist it and say we had the second highest rating in the region as well. Because only 2 countries, well, the third highest, only 3 countries had a higher credit rating than Grenada in the entire region. I could say that. Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. We tied with Jamaica and Belize. 3 countries, Jamaica, Belize, and Grenada, had the same credit rating, B-, while Trinidad, Barbados, and Bahamas had A and A-.
Let me tell you
that the B-,
yeah,
which is equivalent to what Jamaica and Belize had, is what we call the lowest rating in the region.
You know what the report concluding? In Grenada, the overwhelming victory of the NDC is a clear response to the mismanagement, corruption, and electoral dissatisfaction with your administration, the NNP administration.
Whose report is that?
Standards and Poor's report.
Do you want to give me a copy?
Yes, sure, I will.
Give me, yes.
When we get back, we'll continue this conversation. Please stay with us.
Sudden Waste Limited offers professional septic tank clearance at unbeatable prices. At Sudden Waste Limited, you dump it, we pump it, and we also disinfect it. Located in River Road, St. George's next to Steve's Auto, Sudden Waste Limited for professional septic tank clearance. Also available, portable toilets, garbage collection, and garbage bins. Call us today, 435-DIRT. That is 435-3478. Sudden Waste Limited. You dump it, we pump it.
It doesn't matter how many times you've failed. It doesn't matter how much you've heard it can't be done. It doesn't matter how long you've been waiting or asking. No matter what, we believe in smiling again and never giving up. Never give up. Vitamalt takes care of you.
Grenada, Carriacou, and Piedmont. This one will be huge. Saturday, September 29, National Stadium. Brace yourself as Mega.
Pure, clean, refreshing. A-Tang, premium purified water. Produced by the Grenada Bottling Company.
Welcome back, viewers. You are on You Decide Political Watch, and our guests are the Honorable Roland Bowler and Senator Anthony Boson, and we are looking at the NNP perspective. Before the break, you wanted to elaborate.
Yes,
So go ahead, Senator.
Right.
Please, yes.
The minister spoke about the debt.
Yes.
When he took over, the debt was $1.7 billion. Yeah? What it is now, $2 billion. So in essence, you're talking about $300 million that have been borrowed by this administration.
Is that a faster rate than your administration, or you have a faster rate? Let's determine.
No, I'm quoting from this.
Okay, fine.
Right? I'm quoting from his budget speech.
But just before you continue, Boson, you're saying 300 million borrowed. Remember, they have been paying, so they have borrowed much more.
Yeah, I'm talking about the net increase.
Yes, the net
just
increase.
the net increase, because you already moved, because you borrow and pay back. The
Yes.
net increase that you have moved it from 1.7 to almost 2 billion. But what is even more significant, Byron, what has happened to the economy from 2008 to present? Again, look at these figures. The economy declined. The economy contracted under the watch of the Minister of Finance. The lowest decline in 2009, 9.8% decline. So in essence, while the debt has been increasing, the GDP has been declining. That is the legacy of this administration. Compare that to the NNP period. In 1993, the debt stock was $374 million, right? By 2002, it was $1.2 billion, yeah? So you're talking about 3 times the increase. But what had happened then? The economy expanded, the economy grew. So while Grenada was declared uncreditworthy in 1993, even with a low debt stock, by 2002, and the minister should tell you that, Grenada was declared or rated by the Institutional Investor magazine on 2 occasions as number 1 in the world for improved creditworthiness. So although the debt stock increased under our watch, the economy grew as well. Do you know why? Because the borrowings of the NNP were used to develop the country. The borrowings of the NDC prime right now are used to finance consumption, salaries and wages. Right? That is why the economy is going down. And
But you had significant borrowing during the NNP administration.
Yes,
that was not productive
it
in
might
reality.
be, but in essence, in totality, what
Yeah.
I'm saying, the economy grew.
Yes.
And the debt servicing was not a problem. Because once your economy is growing, your revenue base is expanding, and your debt servicing capability will also improve. So we had no problem. We were not declared uncreditworthy. We were declared on 2 occasions as number 1 in the world for improved creditworthiness. So don't look just at the debt stock that they're talking about. Look at your ability, the growth in your GDP relative to your debt, and the capacity and ability to service the debt.
But what about when you compare Grenada with other territories in the region? We know, and Kenny Anthony Dr. Kenny Anthony St. Lucia. In fact, what he said is that recently is that he painted a dismal picture of the economic situation in the sub-region. He said that St. Lucia is responsible for the upkeep of the regional economies.
Yes.
And he pointed out further, he says that Dominica is undergoing major restructuring, St. Kitts is undergoing major debt restructuring.
Correct.
Also. So it is not Grenada alone that is in this
Byron,
predicament.
I agree, but
Yes.
why? You have to manage what you have. Why is it that this government keep going back? I'm not hearing Dominica complaining about the previous administration.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing St. Lucia complaining about the previous administration. They have to manage what you have. You have to deal with what you have. This government cannot deal with what it has and has to blame past administration. They are not doing that. I agree. St. Lucia is doing better, and because of the revenue intake from tourism, they are the one really sustaining the ECCB right now. That's a fact in terms of rent. But I'm not hearing the crybaby attitude of like this NDC administration. Deal with the situation and manage it. That's the problem. That is what St. Lucia doing. That is what Dominica is doing.
But let me just fit in something quickly
Please.
here.
Yes, go ahead.
When you get into government, you get in there to do the people's business, not complain about what was done before. You may want to highlight certain things. But at the same time, while you talk about growth, while you talk about debt, let us look at the monthly commitment, not just the wage bill, but the monthly commitment of government. While this administration is saying that, hey, we made a mess, we have to restructure, we have to put things on a line that the economy would start growing. At that same time, without giving a dollar increase to public servants over the last 1.5 years, you saw the monthly commitment of government increase by almost $8 million. What is responsible for that? Is that responsible, the responsible way of dealing with the finances of the country while you complain that things are bad? That is what the minister must explain to the Grenadian public. That is what he must tell the voters out there. Where is this money going and to whom?
I want to shift a little bit. In a recent address, Honorable Bola, you said that the infighting in the NDC has shifted the energies from focusing on the affairs of the country, and a nation requires inspirational leadership. Inspirational leadership. Who has inspirational leadership at this time to offer the country? And in what form is going to come?
We believe the NNP. Because the NNP brings hope to people. Byron, if we sit here on this program or we go on any platform and say to the Grenadian people that you must vote NNP and overnight all of the problems will disappear, we'd be telling a blatant lie. And none of us, from our leader right down, will not say that to the Grenadian people. What we're saying to the Grenadian people is that, listen, we can bring hope because we understand what is happening. We have been through the mill before. Let's take Hurricane Ivan, for example. The entire country was devastated. NNP didn't start crying and say, oh, why did God send a hurricane? Why is now we were doing so well, the country was growing? And no, we stood up as men with our armor and we fought. We had complaints. There were people that was dissatisfied, but we did what we were supposed to do. And I'm not saying that we were perfect.
But that leadership was rejected. What tells you that the conditions are such that the people of Grenada would go back to that old leadership?
The people went for change.
Yeah.
The change did not bring betterment.
They explain that it's a process. That's the NDC position, of course.
That's their position.
Yes.
But let's look at it. Remember, the people did not reject NNP on the basis that NNP wasn't doing well, you know.
Well, there was accusation of corruption, accusation of mismanagement.
There were accusations.
Yes,
There's never been proof, right?
Yeah.
But not only that. Let's look at what is referred to as political fatigue on the masses. You've been there for 13 years.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people, prior to the last election, if you ask them, why did you want change? Most of them just shrug their shoulders. We think Michelle and NNP been there long enough. Let's give somebody else a chance. It has happened. I've asked people, they said so. So there's a lot of people who voted, not because they felt that NNP was bad. There were some who voted because they felt with a new administration, they may have an opportunity to get more than they were getting with the NNP. Today they have found that they have made a mistake. It's a classical story of the dog and the bone. You left the bone and you went up to the
Your political leader, Honorable Dr. Kip Mitchell, was in fact on I think it's a rally, but at least more than one occasion says, look, I'm going to be a change leader. I'm going to be a change prime minister. Things are going to be different. Well, what do you perceive he means? Well, what type of change
I think
is
Dr.
he
Mitchell
talking about?
is best placed to answer that. But
No,
but
you're the general secretary. What do you perceive he's saying?
I'm going to say now,
Yeah.
what I believe is that Dr. Mitchell had time for reflection. He looked at his era as prime minister. He's looking at his time as opposition leader. He sees where the country is. He knows what the country needs. And he must have come to that place where he realized that he may have to change certain styles.
Well, what type of styles? What?
He has not discussed exactly what we need.
You didn't ask when he
but we know, Byron, we know as a party, we have sat many times. We have looked at maybe why we lost the election. We have looked at what we did right, what we didn't do too right, what could have been different. Not every time you get into something you would have had 2020 vision. But in retrospect, you look back and you say, but as Minister of Finance, Bosun might have taken a decision. And sometime down the line, he looked back and he said, if only I had tweaked that a little bit, we could have gotten better results. And I believe that's the line the political leader is taking. Some people talk about, he says he's going to change as though he means that he has done so much evil things and he wants to be a better person. What he simply means is that the conditions now that we are under requires that he use a different managerial or prime minister style, the style that
he was accused previously of being dictatorial. Some of that is that going to be changed? Yeah,
maybe some of the things he said or some of his actions might have construed that to people. And he probably is thinking now, well, maybe I need to do it a little
like a more friendly relationship with the media, for example.
Well, you're trying to pick out of me what I don't know, Byron. But all I'm saying is that NNP is going to inspire people because we understand what needs to happen. Yeah. We understand what is lacking, and we're not wanting to come back into government for revenge. We want to come back into government to show the Grenadian people, hey, this is a group, this is a body of people that is united, one, two, that has purpose, three, that understands the Grenadian people and the Grenadian economy and what needs to be done. We are not saying that we are magicians and that we're going to change things overnight, but we know we have the zeal, we have the tenacity, and we'll work hard at what we have to do to help transform the lives of the economy.
Senator, look, a report, IMF report just last week came to my attention, and I thought it was interesting. It attributed the slowdown to the growth in the Caribbean, primarily to the decline in productivity rather than a lack of investment. Productivity. And you know what? I'm not hearing this administration, I'm not hearing the opposition, I'm not hearing anybody, the Labour, speak about productivity. In other words, doing more with what we have. Why are we not hearing the call for productivity?
Well, I agree that it's a combination of low productivity, low investment.
But they're saying not so much a lack of investment.
Well,
they are saying that there's not so much as that.
That is the IMF's position, but I am saying no. I believe the lack of investment is a key factor too. In Grenada, for example, over the past couple of years, foreign direct investment in Grenada declined from $160 million to just about $40 million.
Yes,
So that has
erosion of trade preferences also. It's also a factor.
These things have impacted. And also productivity. So it's a combination of factors and not just one.
Recession in the countries that are a source of tourism also.
Well, yes. All of these think of. But Byron, the thing is that if we had managed the economy better, the impact would not have been as great. As we have said before, when the NDC took over, there were a number of development projects.
Which ones? Let's see.
We had the Granville Market Square that they could have
that is on.
We have the St. Patrick. No, I'm talking at the time they took over.
They questioned the St. Patrick Port project. They're saying, come with the facts. Because you reported that it was funded, agreement with the Chinese. Nothing. What the government reported that there is nothing on record to say that.
Who said so? They said there was no feasibility. We presented a feasibility document. Right? They said that the Exim Bank did not agree. We presented a letter from the Minister of Finance indicating that they agreed in principle to finance the project, subject to the final piece of document, which was the EIA. Right? The company that built the stadium was the one in St. Patrick.
Well, you can't reach an agreement to finance a project before the environment impact assessment study is done.
What I'm telling you,
that's like the cart before the horse.
The company was so certain of the feasibility of the project that they went ahead and spent their own monies to get the project moving. As a fact, over $2 million was spent. In the works in Sauteurs, they went as far as Mauche to identify the boulders for the breakwater. They spent their own money, and they got the permission from the Exim Bank to spend money in ahead of the project because the Exim Bank agreed that the project will reimburse them. But when this government took over, although they gave a commitment to the project, they did not pursue the project.
As we talk about project, interesting development yesterday. We heard that the Minister of Works reading out, well, in a statement, the fact that the Agricultural Feeder Road Project Phase 2 has been awarded contractually to CCC. Let's touch on this when we get back,
Okay.
Senator. Viewers, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Harmony, the complete balance of the senses. Sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Create your state of harmony in no time at all with the Baron Gourmet Collection. Baron, we make food tasty.
Spice Basket presents Mystical Magic, a collage of illusions and tricks from some of the best magicians from
Superior one-on-one customer service. Phenomenal products customized to your individual style and need. Fast and efficient service are all attributes that have made St. Louis the leading manufacturers of windows and doors for over 30 years in St. Lucia. And we are now pleased to extend our services to you. Try our new single-hung windows, which can be tilted for easy cleaning. Our famous casement windows, which locks with keys for added security. Our gliders, projected aluminum and heavy sliding windows, sliding and commercial doors, commercial shop fronts, and more. Visit us today, building number 19 Frequente Industrial Park, St. George's, or call us at 439-6538.
I just want you back for good.
Live on Community Channel 6 every Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's Sound System Saturday.
Welcome back. We're on You Decide Political Watch. We're here with Senator Anthony Boson and Honorable Bowler. Before the break, during the break, you said you wanted to elaborate a matter on productivity because it concerns you.
Very much so.
And I want to allow you
very
to
much so. And I don't think it is absolutely true to say that we have not addressed it as a party. Because I don't know that you follow all of our meetings. We have rallies, which are the big ones.
But some of them come live, eh?
Yeah, but we also have localized meetings at constituency level. And it is something that we have addressed and something that we have looked at. In fact, we have said that three main things that we must look at. They are not the only things, but we must look at if an NP administration returns to government. Has to be productivity, the cost of energy, and as Senator said, investment, foreign and local investment. If we can get a handle on those three things, we believe that by itself can help to move the economy forward. It won't be the only thing. There are a lot of other things, and Senator Boson will tell you about some of them. But productivity, definitely. The cost of energy, because that is something that is affecting us and is helping us to remain where we are. And unless we deal with it, unless we find innovative ways to cut the cost of energy, we won't be able to attract a lot of investors here. Yeah,
I want to continue on the question of the CCC project, but I have a caller online.
Yes.
I must go to that caller. It's an interactive program. Good evening, caller. You're on?
Yes, good night to you,
Good
Mr.
night.
Campbell, and to your guests.
Good night.
You know, Mr. Bowler, I heard you talk about the crisis after the hurricane, and you all didn't do this and you all couldn't do that. But I am saying to you, there are two different times. When the hurricane occurred, I know personally billions of dollars came into this country for rebuilding. There were charities, there were local people, all kinds of persons contributed to rebuilding of Grenada. even Trinidad and all, I think, paid salaries for Grenada for 3 months. So money was available in those times. But now, Mr. Bola, monies are very scarce. So it's totally two different times. And
Byron, I want to step in. I hate to cut the caller, but I want to make a point quickly.
Okay, go ahead and make your point.
One, she's not representing the truth by saying Trinidad paid salaries for 3 months in Grenada.
Yeah, that's true.
Two, she talked about billions of dollars coming into Grenada. Yeah. She must say who the billions went to, because there was a lot of charity, as she rightly said. So whatever came in, all did not come into the coffers of the government. There are a lot of charitable organizations operating and doing all sorts of things that government had little or no control over. I just wanted to put in.
Caller, you can continue if you're on, please.
Yes, billions of dollars came into this country via the insurance companies, and as a result, the insurance, the people were able to rebuild. So that is monies that come into the country that circulate. So that is what I know for a fact. So it's not fair to compare that crisis of that time with this crisis, because it's two totally different eras in terms of one money scarce and the other's money available. I want to also ask Senator Boson. I personally saw a letter where the central bank wrote to the government of Grenada and warned you all about Capital Bank. And I don't want to hear about license in the court and all kind of things. Why, Senator Boson, did you all let Capital Bank operate? As a result, $58 million gone down the drain. And I mean, I take those things personally.
Thank you very much, caller, for your comments and question.
There's one other thing that I want to say quickly before Senator Boson come in.
Yeah.
When I made the comparison, I was not talking about whether money was available or not. I was saying that there was a crisis then. And as a government, we did not go about crying. We stood up and we did what we have to do. I was making the comparison that this present administration, yes, there is a crisis. I was admitting and accepting that. But rather than dealing with the crisis, as they're supposed to do, they are just crying and talking about what our government did and what. That was the comparison I was making.
The question of Cap Bank.
Much I could say. We all know the history of Cap Bank. That issue was
tied
up in the courts. It's not that we could have done. Measures? We do not believe in breaking the law. The matter was before the high courts, and our hands were tied. Except you want us to be like renegades and do things like what the NDC do in violation of our laws.
We go back to the caller. Good evening, caller. Go ahead, please. You're on.
Good evening, Mr. Campbell.
Good evening.
Good evening to your guest, Senator Bola, and Mr. Anthony Boatswain.
Good evening, sir.
Mr. Boatswain said that the huge borrowings of the NNP developed Grenada, quote unquote. Will Mr. Boatswain please tell the nation which section or sections of our economy was developed by the over $1.5 billion of borrowing by the NNP, and how many sustainable, and I stress the word, say sustainable, jobs were created by those huge borrowings? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller.
I am very happy to answer the caller, because we have to understand the role of government and the role of the private sector. The borrowings of government is not to replace the activities of the private sector. Government's role is to provide the enabling environment for the private sector to operate. We borrowed to develop the economic and social infrastructure, the physical, economic, and social infrastructure. If you do not have good communication network, you do not have good electricity supply, you do not have good roads, I mean, how can the private sector operate? Don't forget, during our reign, we had Tropical Storm Lily, we had Storm Surge, and 2 major hurricanes. So the borrowings, Byron, were really to develop the infrastructure and to provide the enabling environment for the private sector to operate. So government is not supposed to be in charge of private sector activities, but we create the enabling environment. All I know that government owns 4 estates, right? That's what they own in terms of agriculture. So you can't ask me what production we have done, except on those estates. We do not own factories. But we must create...
But you agree that there were a number of failed projects that money... Listen, you talk about the Mount Hartman and the Deliveroo. Those two stands out for me right away.
But the Deliveroo failed, but it is not a liability for the government right now. I think we have to get that clear.
Okay.
That has been cleared up. We are not, there is no contingent liability for the Libera project.
But we no longer own, the state no longer has
No, but the
equity
developer, I'm sure when he returns, will compensate.
We go
for
to the line. Good evening, caller. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Evening, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to Mr. Bowler and Mr. Boson. Let me first say that I may say something that may not please the two gentlemen, but I will have to say it. I am an activist of the NMP. I am a supporter of the NMP. But I want to give the NMP a warning that at present, our Grenada situation is very bad. The present administration is not a hope for Grenada. They have not satisfied me personally that they are the hope. I will hope that NMP play a fair game, an honest game, and come with clean campaign, because they are at a position where they can win this next election. But they can only do that if we play a fair game and an honest game, and if we come with clean campaign. If NMP comes with clean campaign, they have a fair chance of winning this next election. Because as I said before, the government, the present government, have not satisfied. And I'm not going to go into the details. I'm only asking the NMP to do a very good job of the campaigning, stop no mudslanging, no character assassinating, and come with the facts. We can win that election. Thank you very much,
caller. Senator, well, both of you, particularly General Secretary, the OAS electoral mission in 2008 made a recommendation on this question. They put forward to the political parties, and they're asking that in collaboration with civil society, is it to sign an accord on conduct during the campaign, to which would lead to help to be more accountable, to address the question of standards and campaign advertising, agree on a calendar of campaigns, events in advance, so that you don't have the kind of conflicts and issues that you had last time. Is this something that the NMP is willing to collaborate on and to work on?
We would like to know first and foremost who is behind it. I mean, who is preparing it, because last time we had
some people... saying collaboration with civil society.
Yeah,
this is a recommendation.
Well, we had some people the last time who came out as civil society, the voice for civil society, and then the next day after the government came into office, they became
ministers. No, but I'm talking about the principle.
Yes, the principle we have no problem with. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let us know who is behind it, who is involved in it.
I'll go behind it. Yeah. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead. You're on. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Yes, Mr. Boson and Mr.
Good night to you, sir.
Yes. What I'm saying that is, between me and you, I sure NNP going to win the election.
What?
I sure on that. What I'm telling you, the two best government that ever passed in this country is Gary and NNP. And NNP will be getting back into power. What I'm saying that we want back the old driver. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller.
I like the confidence of the caller. But
you have that confidence?
I have certainly have the confidence.
you know, am I looking at it? Yes.
We just cannot be overconfident.
Okay. We go to the line. Good evening, caller.
Thank you.
Good evening, caller. Go ahead, please, caller.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night.
I just want to ask a question, please.
Go ahead, please.
Concerning the CCC project, I heard the minister was saying that they're paying less to CCC per mile or whatever the case is. I want to know if there will be cutbacks on bridges or cutbacks on drainage, or the same rules that was laid out before is the same amount of work that would be done at this present contract. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I did promise to raise this point.
Yes,
let me give some numbers, Senator, because it's important. The award contract is $45.4 million. What they've noted is a drastic reduction in the preliminary items, moving from 37.5% to 13.4%. That is moving from 17 million to 6 million, a difference of some 11 million, and also a reduced construction rate per kilometer of road, another saving of another $3 million. What the government argues is that they needed to wait. It was worth the wait to seek value for money in a transparent and accountable manner. this is major savings, assuming that what the minister is saying is true. Moving from 38%, 37.5% to 13.4. That's significant.
Byron, I mean, I think you're a man of statistics.
No,
and you know how to manipulate figures as well.
But this is what the minister is presented. Yes.
What the minister is telling me, what absolutely zero.
Why?
In terms of reality.
He's counting significant savings.
Come on, let's what are we comparing? What was the original contract amount? Did he give you that?
No, I'm just quoting.
$39 million.
Yes.
Yeah? 3 years later, what has
Senator, just hold 1 minute. We have a caller on a cell phone, so we'll take it. Yes? Go ahead, caller. We'll come back to the CCC question. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller, please. We've lost that. Go ahead, please. We've lost that caller.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead, please.
Yes, this is the first time I'm calling you. What I think is that what actually is happening is that NDC has concentrated too much on just getting rid of NMD, and now that they get there, they cannot really manage. As you can see, since these people came in, everything in the country is at a standstill. I think they just need to get out and let somebody who is more capable come in, and I think he had a better answer for the economy too. None of them just wasting time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. We have next caller. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello. Good night.
Good night.
Good night to the guest, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Bola. I personally live in St. Andrews Northeast. And every time Mr. Bola on a program, he always commemorates gambling. But you see, gambling is a need. It's not a need for the community, and you have a land, you really imply nobody. You fight in the going since 4 o'clock in the morning and come back out. And you try to employ that 2% in your life. Why?
I think the call is breaking up. I cannot get it. Caller, try to call back. Your line is bad. You have another caller online? No, we go back to you, Senator.
Byron, yes, I was giving you the figures. You get.
Hold on, go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Go ahead.
I agree with previous callers. Any campaigning
listening to themselves.
I want you all to campaign, have a very clean campaign in this time. No character assassinating, no calling one another names, just do what you're supposed to do.
Thank you very much, caller. So you see the need again for an accord.
Yes,
you know,
yeah, that's important.
That's important. I think it is important, and it's crucial. It's going to make a big difference.
We're not against
and I want to hear you are the General Secretary of
Byron,
the NNP.
I did say
and
yes.
Am I hearing an acceptance without any precondition?
No, there must be preconditions.
What kind of preconditions?
There must be preconditions, because we do not want pretenders. There are those who say that I'm the voice of civil society. I am here to protect civil society. When you have, everybody has a right to vote for whichever party they want, but you have your political lines and tags that you carry on with. We can't be part of that. Byron, let me tell you something. People can sign any accord they want. And the intentions, they will do whatever else they want to do. You have laws, and people still break them. The fact is, if we as politicians are mature enough and understand that what we must be dealing with are the issues that confront the people, we don't even need an accord for us to do the proper things.
Fine. We go back to the line. Good evening, caller.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. My contribution to the program is, but I must say hello to Mr. Boson and Mr. Bola.
Good night, sir.
Yeah. Now, from 2004 and 2005, during the time of the hurricane, all the promises that was made to Grenada at the time, maybe it was quite genuine, but we must remember the tsunami that came in shortly after that, and most of the money that was promised to Grenada, it never arrived. And I'm sure Mr. Boson and Mr. Bola can confirm this. So I think this has to be said, Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The caller is absolutely correct, Byron, because I recall we went to the IMF and they organized a pledging session.
So what percentage you actually got?
We got out just about 50% of what was pledged.
50% what was pledged. We have another caller online. Good evening, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, Mr. Campbell and Mr. Boson, Mr. Bola.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to congratulate to you, gentlemen, for the role you had played before in government. Because I believe government is to create the environment for employment. Right now, we have no creation of the environment because I'm an investor and I'm afraid to invest. Because I see what happening now is that everybody's fighting against their own self rather than giving me the encouragement, giving other investors the encouragement to run the country. So
and that is
I know that before that the banks used to be asking us to come and borrow money.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller.
Brian, I want to quickly go back to the CCC issue now.
Yes,
these
we
figures
agree,
that the minister gave you, I mean,
these are the minister's number. These are not my numbers.
The original contract price when CCC agreed to finance to undertake the second phase was $39 million for the 21 kilometers of road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it now? It moved to $45.4 million.
Yes.
So you are paying how much? Almost $5 million more for the same amount of work.
But your mobilization fee reduced from 17
Brian,
million
the point is that
to 6 million.
That is irrelevant. The point is that how much are you paying? What is it? All these internal things about preliminaries and things like that is irrelevant. What is it you have to pay for the same amount of work? And I'm saying that you have to pay much more now. You have to pay almost,
they're also claiming that there is a reduced construction rate per kilometer.
That could be because it all has to do with the quality of the road now.
Yes.
Maybe the road is not the same quality as what it was before, so they have to cut back on that. And maybe the cost would have been even higher. But what is more important? You talk about preliminaries moving from 37 to 13. What are you comparing there? What was the component of preliminaries before and now? Are you saying the same thing? You're comparing orange and orange or orange and grapes?
We must take a break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Jockey's Motors, huge sharks guaranteed. Guaranteed? More fish than Finding Nemo. Wow! Ladies and gentlemen, behold the wonders of the deep.
This sucks.
Yep. We won't take you for a ride. Insurance is a promise to pay. At Beacon, we keep our promises.
And it's simply awesome and majestic. It feeds, clothes, and shelters us. The land protects us from the hurricane Ivans of the world. Provides clear crystal waters 24/7. Could you imagine life without the land? I want you to ask yourself this question. Why sadly around the world and in Grenada, lands are slowly dying, with our bad practices every day. My land, your land is disappearing. Is what we call land degradation. It show up as soil erosion, post-soil and loss of vegetation. That's how we degrade this Spice Island. With landslides, slippage and dying mangrove, to name a few. So here's what I want y'all to do. No one wins from land degradation. The power is in your hands to stop it today. Begin sustainable land management and love the land you live on.
Southern Waste Limited offers professional septic tank clearance at unbeatable prices. At Southern Waste Limited, you dump it, we pump it, and we also disinfect it. Located in River Road, St. George's next to Steele's Auto, Sudden Waste Limited for professional septic tank clearance. Also available, portable toilets, garbage collection and garbage bins. Call us today, 435-DIRT. That is 435-3478. Sudden Waste Limited. You dump it, we pump it.
Pure, clean, refreshing. A-Tang, premium purified water. Produced by the Grenada Bottling Company.
Welcome back, viewers. We're here on Political Watch with representative from the New National Party. Gentlemen, look, in the politics, last weekend we had the NDC convention. I mean, it's making the news with the expulsion of major candidates. They are strengthening themselves. They are ready for a new thrust, a new beginning. In fact, the General Secretary or the PRO said that this is as great for them an occasion as the victory itself in 2008. Are you concerned? Are you worried about the new strengthening of the NDC, Brian, challenging the NNP going forward?
I'm not the least concerned about what the NDC is doing in terms of the strengthening. That's their thing. They have to do that if they want to be competitive in any general election. So that's their thing. My concern really was what transpired at the convention, and I believe that was a major tragedy in terms of not so much the expulsion of the members. That is their thing. They want to expel who they want. That's their business. But I saw it as an attack on democracy. Because you cannot tell me.
Come on, an attack on democracy.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
You are saying that you are a democratic organization. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Right? You have your manifesto, which is a legal document.
Yes.
Right? There are procedures in
your constitution.
The constitution of the party.
Yeah.
How can you violate the basic principles of your constitution by denying due process? I mean, that
but the leader and the deputy leader have argued that the convention is the highest decision-making body of the organization of the NDC, and therefore being the highest decision-making, they have the authority
but I've seen the NDC.
But this is what they've said.
They have said that, but they're wrong, and I think they're wrong. I've seen the Constitution, and nowhere, and if they could show that to you, where it says that any member at the convention could rise up, propose a motion to expel or to do what to any member. That is not in the Constitution.
But your concern has to do with
my concern. That is what they do. I am saying that it is a dangerous precedent, especially you dealing with people who can use state power. You cannot deny due process to anyone. And I was extremely disappointed when I saw the Honorable Tillman Thomas and Nazim Bok appearing on national program, television, trying to defend that position. Tillman Thomas must remember that he went to prison, he was jailed because he stood up for what he felt was his constitutional rights.
Are you defending the rebels?
I'm not defending the rebels, I'm defending democracy.
Okay.
I'm defending the rebels, they could do what they want. Okay. I'm defending, if you stand up for a certain principle, you must uphold those principles. And I'm saying that he let down the nation. He disappointed a lot of people who looked up to him as someone who believed in the democratic process. You can't do something like that. It's not to do with whether you expel who you want to expel is your business. I'm saying that you're setting a dangerous precedent when you decide to bypass or trample on the law to achieve your political objective.
I heard Senator Humphrey saying that what concerned him most was in the process of expulsion, his inability to defend himself, what he considered not just due process, but natural justice.
That's natural justice, basic principle in law. And what compounded, I was listening to Mr. Vincent Roberts on a program this morning, and the analogy he gave was frightening. He said that the convention is like the Privy Council.
Yeah.
And if your guys and them behave in a manner and you can't wait, you go straight to the Privy Council. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Is that how we have to be careful with those things?
MP Bola, the NNP now has a new grand election slogan. I interpret it says, NNP united to rescue and develop Grenada. But in 2008, you had, your slogan was, you first, let the progress continue. You lost the election. When you talk about rescue Grenada, how exactly are you going to do that?
I mean, there's no one single way to do it.
Yeah.
There are a number of ways that we're going to work on. We spoke earlier on about productivity. We talk about energy. We talk about investment.
Yeah.
We talk about putting the nation back to work.
Yeah.
We talk about management of the economy. Very important. Because this economy as it is now, there's no management.
You were accused of mismanaging the economy.
We were accused of, but there's no proof of we mismanaging the economy. Because if you ask anybody today to make a comparison between the standard of living now, the way they live, their ability to provide for themselves and their family, compared to 4.5 years ago, I wonder what the answer would be, Baron. Yeah. What would you say? If I pose that question to you right now where we're sitting here, Baron, 4.5 years ago compared to now, was it easier, was it better for you to survive and take care of your family than it is now?
I'm going to let the viewers answer that question, you know.
The point is,
but yeah, I understand.
We have to change the method of operation. We have to bring Grenadians back into a united state, because that is part of the problem too, you know. People are so divided. We have allowed the politics of hate and spite to separate and push us aside.
Because 4 years ago, in 2008, what did the opposition say? The opposition said, look, vote for us. We want to restore integrity, good governance. We want to restore Grenada. You know,
we had a perfect example
and now you're saying you want to rescue. I mean, I don't know. Who should we trust here?
We want to rescue Grenada from the malaise that we're in. You just discussed the whole issue of what happened in the convention. Remember, the convention and the party is what forms government. And if you're not going to allow natural justice to occur within the party, what makes us believe that you will allow natural justice to occur in government? Because the people in the party are the people who ends up in government. So we're saying as a party, looking at all that is happening, we need to unite our people, number one. We need to rescue our people from what we're seeing now. And we need to develop. So it is not a one-track thing. There are several angles that
because what I hope the media can really do in this process, you know, I hope the media can move beyond really questioning. And I hope UDCide can help, Political Watch can do that. Not just the jerseys, the color, and the bus rides and the artists coming in from overseas. We had to get deep into the issues. And for example, the youth, it's when you look around, you feel they are abandoned, you know. What is happening? And I mean, what is your solution for the young people of this country?
I made the point earlier on that when you travel through, when you ask the question, what is it I see practically that tells me that the economy is in problem and the country is in problem? And I made the point that as you travel around in the outer parishes, I did make the point, it is possible that it's happening in the town too. But I don't live in the town. I live in the rural parts. What you see is groups of young persons. And it has always happened.
That was happening long before.
I did make that point, that young people have always congregated together because they share similar motives and so. But now it is worse. They are in larger numbers, and the point is, they're not just there for a discussion. They are hopeless. They're there to find what they can get. Sometimes they don't eat for the day. It is a sign that the economy is not good. It is a sign that they need rescuing, that they need hope once again. It is a sign that they need people, the people at the helm, the people who are in charge of the country, to set the structures and the standards and the enabling environment so that they can strive on their own and they can develop. We cannot all get a job from government.
But is there the commitment to do this? I mean, it's one thing to speak this.
I said that we are a united team that is committed, that has been tried and tested. We have been battle tested many times before, and the Grenadian people can testify to it.
I mean, like your leader, for example, is talking about inclusiveness and he's moving away from the NDC and NNP, but yet we have got so used to that we almost expect that an administration come into office those employed by the other part loses that they go home. We see this time. It's like we expect this to happen.
Yeah. If you have a political appointment, if you are
that's
appointed,
different.
Okay,
and that is why maybe give this government a little credit when they created this new situation where they put all the political appointees in one place. Right,
yeah, so you have a chief of staff.
You make it easier to move out because you're political appointees.
Are you willing to debate the Minister of Finance, your contemporary?
Anytime, anywhere.
Coming up?
Anytime, anywhere. You just said it.
You have a big. You advertise it as a rally coming up this Sunday at the Tantine playing field.
Roy St. John
playing field.
In Tantine.
Why the rally at this time? Have you started your political? Is this part of your election campaign? What is the purpose of this rally?
We have started campaigning since 2008, from the day we lost the election, because that is our responsibility. That is what we should be doing as an opposition party. If you are organized, if you are prepared to do your work, you have to campaign. So it is not a new thing for us. We have been having rallies since the last election until this time. If you check back, if you go back to the record, you would see that in almost every parish in Grenada, the NNP would have been there, and sometimes on more than one occasion having rallies, for various reasons.
So it's a continuation.
It's a continuation.
But what
we may hype it as we get closer to the election.
What I hear, Senator Boson, I hear you, innuendos, half-truths. You talk about, you are accusing the Minister of Finance of borrowing money upwards to 70 million from the NIS. He says it's not true.
What is not true?
That the government borrowed money from the NIS to pay that. So he says...
No.
In fact,
is the minister telling us that he has not sold any treasury bills to the to the NIS?
Says he did not borrow money from the NIS.
No. The point that you could borrow through the issuance of treasury bills. Is he saying that no treasury bills were issued to the NIS within the past 2 months? Is he denying that?
But he's certainly denying that monies were borrowed from the NIS.
No, we don't want to.
And therefore, there was no need to go to Parliament. He didn't break any law.
You don't have to, Byron. You don't have to go to Parliament to raise money through the issuance of treasury bills, as long as you remain within the guidelines of the revised Treasury Bill Act, which says that you can issue up to 25% in treasury bills of your current revenue for the year. So the minister knows that. So he can't come with this thing that he doesn't have to go to Parliament. He doesn't have to go to Parliament to sell shares in existing companies.
The other thing, you talk about the prorogation of Parliament. You think the government should go to Parliament. You've been in the government position. You wouldn't go to Parliament, given the composition of the Parliament right now, where you have 4 in opposition, 5 backbenchers, and the government controls 6.
Then do the decent thing.
Yeah. But you can't. Maybe they're doing this, but you can't dictate the time frame for doing this. You wouldn't dictate the time frame.
Nobody is dictating, Byron. We are saying that you have a minority government. You're hanging on there with a minority government. Yeah, you're afraid to go to Parliament. Your own Parliament, you're afraid to go to it.
Gentlemen, that's all the time we have. Wrap up. Any final comments? 30 seconds. Yeah.
But we just briefly, I'm saying that we are extremely concerned with the kind of stopgap measures that this government has been taking in order to solve the economic problem of the country. They can't work. They need to grow the economy so at least they can get more revenue in order to meet their commitments.
Senator, briefly.
I don't believe that time will permit the government to do what Senator Boson is asking of them. So I think it is time that we go to an election, let the people give a fresh mandate to whoever.
Gentlemen, that's all the time we have. I want to thank you for coming. Viewers, that's all the time we have. We want to thank our guests, thank our viewers, and we'll see you next week. Remember, it's You Decide, Political Watch. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.